I want you to picture a specific moment. It's a moment I think every single person listening has experienced, and it is uniquely painful.
Mm-hmm.
You are sitting in a meeting, or maybe you're at a dinner party, or, God forbid, you're standing up on a stage somewhere,
Mm.
and you have prepared, you've really done the work.
You've got the facts, you've practiced the phrasing, you have all the data backing you up. You feel like you are about to deliver absolute gold.
You got the perfect slides, the logic is bulletproof, you are so ready.
Yeah.
Exactly. You open your mouth, you start speaking, and almost immediately you feel it. It's like the air just gets sucked out of the room.
Oh, that feeling.
You're speaking, the words are coming out perfectly, but it feels like you are shouting into a void.
You see the glassy eyes, the polite little nod that isn't really nodding at anything you actually said, the silence.
The silence is the absolute worst. You finish, and you have this sinking realization. I just explained this perfectly, and yet I'm pretty sure nobody heard a single word I said. It's this universal frustration of the modern age, this huge gap between saying something and actually being heard.
It is incredibly painful. And when that happens, what do we usually do? We immediately blame the mechanics.
Oh, yeah, totally. I must have mumbled.
Exactly. I must have mumbled, or I didn't have enough statistics, or maybe my microphone wasn't loud enough. We obsess over the transmission of the signal.
Right.
But the reality is almost always something deeper. It's not a failure of volume. It's a failure of bridge building.
And that is exactly where we are going today. We're doing a deep dive into the difference, the massive canyon-sized difference between communicating and connecting.
Mm-hmm.
We're working through a stack of research and materials based largely on John C. Maxwell's book, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And I have to say, going through this material was a bit of a wake-up call for me.
It's a wake-up call for anyone who talks to people for a living or just, lives with other people. The title really says it all. Everyone communicates. We are doing it constantly, all day long. But connecting, that is rare. That is the gold dust.
So our mission today is pretty specific. We want to strip away all the complexity we usually pile on top of communication skills.
Yeah, all the jargon.
Exactly. We aren't going to talk about body language tricks or how to project from your diaphragm or, how to design a PowerPoint that pops. We're going to get to the emotional core of why some people capture our hearts and our minds effortlessly.
While others, even brilliant people, just make noise.
Yeah.
Precisely. And we need to be clear about something right from the start. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't a bag of tricks.
Right. It's not how to trick people into liking you.
Not at all. It's about the fundamental human need to be seen and to be understood. It goes way deeper than that.
And looking at the outline we have today, there's one thing that really stood out to me as a teaser. We're going to find out why sounding smart, which is what I think I spent most of my 20s trying to do, is actually the absolute enemy of connection.
Oh.
That idea kind of blew my mind a little bit because we're all taught that competence equals connection.
It is so counterintuitive, isn't it? We think impressive words and big data points build bridges, but the truth is, a lot of the time, they just build walls.
Wow.
But once you understand why, it changes every single interaction you have, from a board meeting to a chat with your barista.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the environment we are all operating in. Because if there's one thing we are not lacking in the 21st century, it is words.
No.
We are absolutely swimming in them.
Swimming, I think we're drowning. I mean, just think about the sheer volume of communication that hits you before you even finish your morning coffee.
Oh, it's anxiety-inducing just to think about it. You wake up, you check your text, then the emails start flooding in. Then you open up social media and you scroll through hundreds of headlines, opinions, hot takes.
Then you get on a Zoom call or a Teams meeting. Then you listen to podcasts like this one. It is literally thousands upon thousands of words every single day.
The fire hose is always on.
Always. And the estimates are just staggering. We are exposed to more information in a single day than our ancestors were in an entire lifetime. And yet, and this is the crucial paradox here, despite this massive volume of information exchange, look at the statistics on loneliness. Look at the employee engagement surveys. People feel more isolated, less understood, and more invisible than ever before.
It's a total contradiction.
We are talking more than any humans in history, but we aren't connecting.
It's like we have maximized transmission and completely minimized reception. We have these high-speed fiber optic cables, but the emotional bandwidth is basically zero.
That's a great way to put it. It's the difference between broadcasting a signal and actually tuning in to the person on the other end.
And most of us are just broadcasting.
We are. We're radio towers just blasting our signal out there, hoping someone, anyone, picks it up. But connection requires a receiver. It requires someone to tune in.
Maxwell uses this great comparison in the book, A Tale of Two Meetings, that I think perfectly illustrates this. I want to paint the picture for you, because I think everyone listening has been in the first meeting. Let's call it the frustrating meeting.
Or the meeting that could have been an email.
Exactly that one. So you're in a conference room. The lighting is that harsh fluorescent hum. The presenter stands up. The suit is crisp. The slides are high resolution. Maybe they have some of those nice little animations. The data is precise down to the decimal point. They're confident. They don't stutter. They know their stuff.
On paper, if you were grading this like a speech class, it's an A-plus presentation. Flawless execution.
Right. It's technically perfect. But you look around the room, what do you see?
You see people checking their watches, they're doodling on their notepads, they're discreetly checking their phones under the table.
Yes.
The energy is just, it's dead. It feels distant. It feels cold.
And when it's over, everyone just shuffles out. Good job, Bob.
Yeah.
Nice slides. But nothing changes. You go back to your desk and you forget everything that was said within 10 minutes.
Because there was information, but there was no inclusion. You were an observer of a performance, not a participant in a moment.
That's it. You were an observer. Now, contrast that with the memorable moment. Think about a teacher you had in high school who maybe changed your life.
Okay.
Or a leader who actually sat down with you during a crisis. Or just a friend, late at night. They might not be using big fancy words. They might stumble a bit. They might not have a slide deck at all.
They probably aren't standing behind a podium. They're leaning in. They're sitting across from you.
Yes. They are making eye contact. And I mean real eye contact, not that scanning the room thing that speakers do.
Right.
They are telling a simple story.
Yeah.
And in that scenario, you might not remember the exact sentence they said 5 years later. You probably don't. But you remember the feeling.
You felt seen. You
Wow.
felt valued. You felt understood.
And that brings us to the core definition we need to anchor ourselves in for this entire deep dive. What exactly is connection? Because we use that word a lot, like, oh, I have a good connection with him. But what does it technically mean in this context?
Well, according to the source material, connection isn't defined by the content you transmit. It's not about the accuracy of your facts or the elegance of your prose.
Okay.
Connection is defined as the ability to identify with people and relate to them in a way that increases your influence with them. Or, even more simply, it's making people feel included in the story.
Included in the story. That is a huge shift. It changes the listener from a spectator to a character.
It's a total paradigm shift. It is the difference between a leader who demands compliance and a leader who inspires loyalty.
Say more about that.
If you just present facts, I might agree with you intellectually. I might look at your spreadsheet and say, yes, the data supports your conclusion. I will comply.
Okay, makes sense.
But if you connect with me, if you make me feel like I am part of the journey, like my role matters in this story you're telling, that is when you get loyalty. That is when you get movement. That is when you get people willing to run through brick walls for you.
It reminds me of that old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
It's a cliche for a reason. It's fundamentally biologically true, but we forget it every single day, especially at work.
Why do we forget? I have a theory. Because I think most of us, especially in professional settings, we default to what I call expert mode.
Yes.
We think our value comes from our knowledge. We think we are being paid to be smart.
We do. We wear our expertise like a shield. We think if I just show them how much I know, they will respect me, and if they respect me, they will listen.
And that leads perfectly into this story from the source material, I call it The Tragedy of the Expert, that really drove this home for me. It's about a tour guide. And honestly, reading this, I cringed because I saw myself in it so many times.
Oh, this is a painful story, but it's so common.
So imagine you have traveled to one of the most beautiful places on Earth. The notes describe it as having these ancient stone structures, green mountains touching the clouds, a river carving through a deep valley. I mean, this is a bucket list destination.
Right.
You've saved up for a year to get here. You arrive with all this excitement. You are ready for a sense of wonder.
You are emotionally wide open. You want to feel the history. You're ready to be moved.
And then the tour guide starts talking. And this guy, he knows his stuff. He starts listing dates. This wall was commenced in 1492 and completed in 1501.
Oh, no.
The elevation here is precisely 2,400 meters. The population density in the 16th century was, he's using architectural terminology, he's throwing out statistical data about annual rainfall, and he just keeps going.
He's just dumping data. He's treating the tourists like they're empty hard drives that just need to be filled up with facts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what happens? The group starts to drift.
Uh-huh.
First, their eyes glaze over. Then they physically start to wander off to look at a flower or take a selfie or just stare at the clouds. By the end of the tour, the guide is still talking, still listing facts, but he is talking to absolutely no one.
And here is the tragedy of it all, and I want the listener to really catch this. Was the guide stupid?
No, not at all. He knew everything. He was probably the most knowledgeable person within 100 miles on that topic.
He was brilliant. He was an expert, but he failed. And why did he fail? Because he didn't invite any questions. He didn't share any stories about the actual people who built the walls.
He showed zero curiosity about the people standing right there in front of him.
He was broadcasting, not connecting.
That really hit me. Because I think I've been that tour guide. I know I have. I've been in conversations, maybe at a party, or even explaining a project to my boss, where I'm so eager to show what I know or to prove that I'm right.
That you just dump facts on people.
I just gum facts. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm really educating them. They must be so impressed by my command of the details. Meanwhile, they were looking for the nearest exit.
It raises a really important question for our listener to consider right now. When you are communicating, whether it's to your spouse, your boss, or your kids, are you acting like that tour guide?
Oof.
Are you prioritizing your data over their experience? Because the aha moment here is that the tragedy wasn't his lack of knowledge. It was his failure to connect. Knowledge without connection is just noise. It's just static.
So how do we fix it? If we don't want to be the lonely tour guide shouting dates at an empty mountain, what do we actually do? We have to understand what is happening in the listener's head.
Right. And the source material offers a really fascinating psychological framework for this. It suggests that every time you meet someone, doesn't matter if it's a Fortune 500 CEO, a potential date, or a stranger on the bus, they are asking 3 silent questions.
Silent questions, so they never say these out loud.
Never. They might not even consciously realize that they're asking them. It's the subconscious filter. It's evolutionary, really. We're constantly assessing safety and value in others.
And the answers to these 3 questions determine whether they open up to you or just shut you out.
Completely.
Okay, let's go through them, because this feels like the secret code to human interaction. If you can answer these, you're in. What is the first question?
Question number 1, do you care about me?
Wow. Do you care about me?
This is the gatekeeper. It is purely emotional. If the answer to this is no, nothing else matters. You could be the smartest person in the room, you could have the cure for cancer, but if the person feels you don't care about them as a human being, their heart closes. It's over.
That is heavy. But how do people detect that? Because I can say the words, I care about you, but that doesn't mean they believe it.
Oh, people are human lie detectors when it comes to this stuff. We detect it in the micro expressions. We detect it in focus. If I'm talking to you and you glance at your phone, even for a split second,
Ouch.
you have just answered no to the question, do you care about me? You've signaled that a text message is more important than my presence right now.
I think we're all guilty of the phone glance. It's so reflexive.
It's the killer of connection. Or if you interrupt me to immediately tell your own story, that's a no. It signals your story is just a setup for my much better story.
Okay, so if we manage to get a yes on that first one, if we show genuine interest and presence, what is the second question?
Question number 2, can you help me?
Can you help me? Now, I want to clarify this because it sounds a little bit transactional. Does this just mean, can you give me money? Or can you give me a job?
It can mean that in certain contexts, sure, but usually it's much, much broader. It's about value. It's about, does interacting with you make my life better in some way, even a small way?
Okay.
Maybe you help me solve a problem. Maybe you just make me laugh and lift my mood. Maybe you give me a new perspective I hadn't thought of.
So help can just be making the next 5 minutes of my day a little more pleasant.
Absolutely. Think about the opposite. If you are a drain, if you are constantly negative, complaining, taking energy, the answer to can you help me is a clear no. You are actually hurting me, not helping me.
And people eventually check out because there's no mutual benefit. Nobody hangs out with an energy vampire forever.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so do you care about me? Can you help me? What's the third question?
Question number 3 is the big one. Can I trust you?
Right.
This is the sustainability question. This determines if the relationship lasts 5 minutes or 50 years. If I can't trust you, I am certainly not going to follow you as a leader. I'm not going to buy from you as a customer. I'm not going to be vulnerable with you as a friend.
And trust isn't just, will you steal my wallet? It's much bigger.
Oh, way bigger. It's,
Yeah.
are you who you say you are? It's about consistency. If you are incredibly nice to me, but then you're rude to the waiter,
Oh, yeah.
I can't trust you because I don't know which version of you is real.
So to summarize the three, do you care about me? Can you help me? And can I trust you?
And notice what is completely missing from that list.
Yeah. Are you smart? Isn't on there.
Do you have a PhD? Isn't there?
Yeah.
Is your PowerPoint pretty? Isn't there? Do you have 1 million followers on social media? Is not there. All three questions are entirely focused on the listener's needs, not the speaker's credentials.
That is the whole shift.
Yeah.
We spend so much time and energy polishing our credentials, trying to answer the question, am I impressive? But the person sitting across from us is asking, do you care?
It completely flips the script on how we approach any conversation.
Yeah.
If you walk into a room thinking, how can I look impressive? You will fail. If you walk in thinking, how can I show I care? How can I help them? And how can I earn their trust? You will connect.
But I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. This sounds simple. Just care, help, and be trustworthy. If it's this simple, why are we so bad at it? Why is true connection so rare? Why do I still walk out of so many meetings feeling like I just wasted an hour of my life?
Because simple does not mean easy. There are massive internal barriers that stop us from answering those questions for other people. And these aren't technical barriers. They are emotional barriers deep inside us.
Okay, let's talk about that turning point story that's mentioned in the research. It's about a speaker who finally got it right, but only after failing for years and years.
Yes, this is a great example of breaking through those barriers. So you have a speaker who spent the first part of his career trying to be the great orator.
Right, the next Winston Churchill.
Exactly. He was polishing his vocabulary, perfecting his stance, memorizing rhetorical techniques. He wanted to be impressive.
And I bet he was technically good. Probably knew all the rules.
Probably. But he wasn't connecting, he was performing. Then one day something shifted. He realized the audience didn't care about his perfection. He just stopped trying to impress.
What did he do instead?
He walked on stage and told a simple story from his childhood. Nothing fancy, just a real, honest, slightly embarrassing story.
And the reaction in the room changed.
Completely. People laughed, then they got quiet. Then, the notes say, some people actually began to cry. Not because the story was unique or dramatic.
But because it felt true.
It felt true. It felt personal. It felt like it was meant for them.
And the realization was, great communication isn't about sounding smart. It's about helping others feel understood.
That's the whole game. But to do that, you have to overcome 3 very specific, very powerful internal barriers.
Okay, lay them on me. What are the enemies of connection?
The first one is immaturity.
Immaturity. That sounds like an insult. What does that look like in this context? It's not about being childish, is it?
Well, in a way it is. Think about a baby. A baby is the center of its own universe, and it has to be.
Right, for survival.
Exactly. It cries, it gets fed, it doesn't care if mom is tired, it doesn't care if dad is stressed. It is purely biologically self-focused. That's not a flaw in a baby, it's survival. But immaturity in communication is when we never outgrow that.
So it's the adult who still fundamentally believes they are the main character of reality.
Precisely. We talk to be admired. We talk to get validation. We talk because we like the sound of our own voice. We aren't trying to understand the other person. We're just using them as an audience for our own ego.
Oof. Using them as an audience. That stings. I think we've all been trapped in a conversation with someone who is just waiting for you to stop talking so they can start again.
That is immaturity in action, and it leads directly into the second related barrier, ego.
The ego.
Yeah.
The wall that success builds.
It's so dangerous. When you start having some success, people applaud you, and applause is addictive. You start to crave that validation, and here is the trap. Feedback, which is essential for connection, starts to feel like a threat to that ego.
You stop listening because you think you already know everything.
You become the tour guide. People become invisible to you. They just become props in the movie of your life. You stop asking questions because you assume you have all the answers.
Okay, so immaturity and ego make sense. But the third barrier is the one that really surprised me. And I actually want to push back on this a bit because it doesn't intuitively make sense to me at first. The third barrier is insecurity.
Yes, and this is probably the most common one, I think.
But wait, We just talked about ego and immaturity, which are all about being obsessed with yourself. But usually, we think of insecure people as being hyper-aware of others. If I'm insecure, aren't I constantly worrying about what you think of me? Doesn't that mean I'm focused on you?
I see why you'd think that. It feels like empathy, right? It feels like you're considering the other person, but it's not.
Oh, so?
If I am insecure, I am consumed by fear of judgment. My internal monologue is, do I look okay? Did I sound stupid just then? Is my tie straight? Do they like me? Oh, God, I think I just bored them. Where is the focus in all of those thoughts?
It's on, do I look okay? Did I sound stupid?
Exactly. My mental energy is 100% focused inward on myself. I physically cannot focus on you or your needs or your silent questions because I am too busy managing my own fear and protecting myself. I'm stuck in a hall of mirrors.
Wow. That is actually a huge reframing. So the arrogant person is thinking about how great they are, and the insecure person is thinking about how inadequate they are.
But both of them are only thinking about themselves.
And neither of them is thinking about the listener.
Exactly. It's two sides of the same self-obsessed coin. Different causes, same result. Disconnection. To connect, you have to forget yourself for a moment. You have to be secure enough to take your eyes off the mirror and look out the window at the other person.
There's one more barrier mentioned in the material, which is a bit more straightforward, but just as powerful. It's simply not valuing others. And there is a story here that I think everyone should hear. It's the janitor story.
This is a classic. It's almost a parable. So there's a nursing student taking a final exam, and she's breezing through it. She knows the anatomy, the procedures, the medications. She's an A student.
She's feeling confident. This is easy.
She gets to the very last question on the exam, and she reads it and thinks it has to be a joke.
What was the question?
The question was, what is the first name of the woman who cleans the building?
A cleaning lady.
Right. And the student is completely stumped. She had seen this woman every single day for years. She walked past her in the hallway. She saw her emptying the trash while she was studying late at night. But she didn't know her name.
Because she didn't value her. She saw the function, trash remover, but she never saw the person.
She failed that question. And the professor's point was simple but devastating. You can be a great medical technician. You can know all the science, but you cannot be a great nurse. You cannot be a healer if you do not believe that every single person matters. Connection begins with noticing.
That is a tough lesson, especially in our world today. I mean, think about remote work. It's even harder to notice the janitor or the junior developer or the admin assistant when they are just a name on a Slack channel.
It requires intentional effort. You have to actively choose to see people, not just job titles.
Okay, so we have the diagnosis. We are drowning in noise. We default to being the expert tour guide. We fail to answer the 3 silent questions because we are blocked by our own immaturity, ego, and insecurity. If we stopped here, this would be a pretty depressing deep dive.
It would be. Thanks for listening. You are all self-absorbed and doomed to fail. Good luck out there.
Right. But the source material is very clear. Connection is not magic.
It is not. It is not a genetic trait like having blue eyes. It isn't just for extroverts. It is a learnable skill. It is a muscle that you can build with practice.
So let's get practical. Let's get into the how-to. The source material outlines 5 practices that can help us break through these barriers and actually connect. And I want to go deep on these because this is the real takeaway.
And remember, the core shift for all of these is mental. It's a conscious decision. You have to consciously move your focus from self to others. That's the foundation for everything.
Okay, practice number 1, find common ground.
This is the starting point. It's where connection begins. But it's harder than it sounds because evolutionarily, we are wired to look for differences.
We are. That's interesting.
Absolutely. When you walk into a room with a stranger, your brain immediately stands for threats or differences. Oh, they're from a different department. They are a different generation. They support a different sports team. We instinctively focus on the gap.
So we have to consciously override that instinct.
You have to hunt for the overlap. Connection lives in the overlap.
There is an anecdote about 2 strangers on a flight that illustrates this perfectly. We've all been there. You sit down, you give a little nod, you put your headphones in. Silence for the first hour. It's awkward. The void is there.
And then usually when the drink cart comes around, one person mentions something small. Oh, I'm heading home to Chicago.
And the other person's face just lights up. Chicago! No way! I grew up in Evanston. Is that little bakery on Main Street still there?
And boom, instantly the distance disappears, the entire dynamic changes, the body language changes, they turn toward each other. They aren't strangers anymore, they are fellow Chicagoans.
They found the 1% of their lives that overlapped, and they built a bridge on it.
And it's so powerful. But how often do we skip this in business? We jump straight to the agenda. Okay, let's look at the Q3 projections.
We do. We skip the human moment to get to the business moment. But finding common ground is what gives you permission to do business. It signals, I am like you. We are in this together.
So the advice here is, before you pitch, before you lecture, before you dive into the agenda, find the overlap. Ask questions until you find it.
Where did you grow up? What are you working on that really excites you right now?
Yeah.
How are you handling this crazy weather? It doesn't have to be deep. It just has to be shared.
Exactly.
Okay, practice number 2. Keep it simple.
Oh, this is my favorite one. And it's the one that smart people struggle with the most.
I know you love this one. The source contrasts two scientists. Scientist A gets up and explains a concept using the most technical, high-level jargon possible. Polysyllabic words, acronyms, the whole 9 yards. The audience nods, but they are totally lost.
And here's the key question. How does the audience feel in that moment?
They feel stupid.
They feel stupid. And when you make people feel stupid, they don't like you. They disengage to protect their own ego.
Right. Then scientist B gets up, and she explains the exact same complex concept. Let's say it's gravity. But she uses a story about a child and a ball. She uses plain, simple English.
And suddenly everyone gets it. They have that aha moment. They feel smart. They feel included. They think, wow, I actually understand physics.
But wait, I have to push back a bit here. Isn't there a risk of dumbing it down? If I'm an expert and I need to use precise language, I don't want to sound like I'm talking to a bunch of kindergartners.
There is a massive difference between dumbing it down and making it clear. Jargon is often a mask for insecurity. We use big, complicated words to hide the fact that we don't fully understand the concept ourselves.
That's the Einstein test.
Exactly. Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Simplicity isn't weakness. It is respect. It is saying, I value your time and your mental energy enough to do the hard work of making this clear for you.
If you confuse them, you lose them.
That's the mantra. If I have to burn calories trying to decode your sentence, I have less energy to listen to your actual idea.
Okay, that's a great point. Practice number 3. Create an experience. This goes back to our tale of 2 meetings. People remember experiences, not just speeches. But how do we do this without a special effects budget?
It's not about pyrotechnics. It's about engagement. Think about your favorite teacher again. Did they just stand at the front and read from the textbook in a monotone voice?
No, of course not. They moved around the room.
Yeah.
They asked questions. They probably acted things out, told funny stories.
They made the learning active. In a conversation, creating an experience can be as simple as telling a story instead of just giving a statistic. Or using a metaphor.
Like, this new software is like the central nervous system of the company, and the sales team is the
Hands and feet, exactly. Now I can visualize it. Now I'm engaged. Or simply asking a question like, has this ever happened to you? And then actually waiting for an answer.
That turns a monologue into an experience. You are activating their brain, not just their ears.
You're inviting them onto the stage with you. Stories are the currency of connection. Facts get filed away in the brain. Stories get felt in the heart.
Okay, moving on. Practice number 4. Inspire.
This is about belief. And this is so vital for leaders, for parents, for anyone in a position of influence. When you communicate with someone, do you convey that you believe in them?
This sounds a lot like answering the "can you help me" question.
It is. There is a formula the source mentions. What they know plus what they need to know plus belief, inspiration.
Break that down for me.
Okay. You acknowledge what they already know. That shows respect. You give them what they need to know. That provides value. But then you add the crucial third ingredient, belief. You look them in the eye and say, I know you can do this. I see so much potential in you.
That shifts the energy in the room.
It changes everything. When someone truly, genuinely believes in you, you sit up straighter, you try harder. Connection unlocks potential. If you are a leader, your primary job is to be a mirror that shows people the best version of themselves.
That's beautiful. It's not just about getting them to do a task. It's about fueling them for the journey.
Precisely.
And finally, practice number 5. This one feels like the glue that holds all the others together. Live the message.
Credibility. Authenticity. This is the foundation of the whole thing. You cannot connect if you are a fake.
The hypocrisy trap.
Nothing kills connection faster than hypocrisy. Imagine a boss who gives a stirring speech about work-life balance and family first, but then sends you angry emails at 10:00 p.m. on a Saturday.
You instantly hate that person. All trust is gone.
The connection is completely severed. The answer to "can I trust you" becomes a hard no. You have to align your speech with your life. You have to be the same person on stage as you are off stage.
It's scary because it means you have to be vulnerable. You can't hide behind a persona. You have to walk the walk.
But that vulnerability is what draws people in. We don't connect with perfection. We connect with humanity. We connect with struggle. If you admit, hey, I struggle with work-life balance too, but I'm really trying, that is connection. If you pretend to be perfect, that is alienation.
So we have these 5 powerful practices. Find common ground, find the overlap, keep it simple, respect the listener, create an experience, stories over stats, inspire, give them belief, and live the message. Authenticity is everything.
It's a powerful toolkit. If you do these 5 things, you start being the lonely tour guide and you start being a true connector.
I want to make sure we ground this before we wrap up, because we've talked a lot about audiences and speakers and leaders, but the source material really emphasizes that this isn't just for public speakers on a stage.
No, not at all. In fact, the most important connections we make happen in the quiet moments, the unscripted moments of everyday life.
Let's look at connection in the real world. For a parent, what does this look like?
It looks like kneeling down, literally getting on the child's level, putting away the phone, and I mean physically putting it in another room, and listening to their story about a bug they found or a video game level they beat. Like, it is the most important breaking news in the world.
That answers, "Do you care about me?" with a 10-foot-tall billboard.
With a resounding yes!
Okay, what about for a manager in a workplace?
It's stopping by an employee's desk or jumping on a quick unscheduled call, not to ask for a status report, but to ask, hey, what are your dreams? Where do you want to be in 5 years? How can I help you get there?
Wow. That answers, can you help me? And do you care about me?
At the same time, it transforms the relationship from transactional, you work for me, to transformational, we're growing together.
And just everyday life. I mean, strangers. The person bagging your groceries at the supermarket.
It's looking them in the eye, checking their name tag, saying, hey, Sarah, how's your Tuesday going? And then actually waiting for the answer. It's treating them as a protagonist in their own story, not just an NPC in yours.
It's about fighting that tour guide instinct in every single interaction we have.
And the impact is massive. The source describes a ripple effect. When connection is present in a group, teams cooperate better. Families start to heal old wounds. Communities strengthen.
It's like the oil in the engine. Without it, the gears grind, the heat builds up, and eventually the whole machine just breaks down. With it, everything runs smoothly.
Ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they feel connected, when they feel seen and supported. Talent stalls without connection. You can have the best team in the world, the smartest engineers, the best marketers, but if they aren't connected to each other and to the mission, they will lose to a team that is.
This brings us to the end, and the source material leaves us with a really powerful final truth. It's a bit of a memento mori, a reflection on the end of life.
It is. It's a sobering thought. When people reach the end of their lives and they look back on everything, very few people sit on their deathbed and wish they had given better presentations.
You know, I just wish I had used a better font on that Q4 deck back in 2014.
If only I had used more impressive vocabulary in that meeting. No one says that.
So what did they say? What are the regrets?
They wish they had listened more. They wish they had cared more. They wish they had connected more deeply with the people who mattered most to them. Because nearly everything meaningful in life, love, purpose, joy, happens through other people.
That is the ultimate takeaway. Meaning happens through people. And connection is the vehicle for meaning.
It really circles back to the core mantra of the book we've been discussing. Everyone communicates. Few truly connect.
It's a challenge, isn't it?
Right.
It's not just a statement of fact, it's an invitation.
It is. The invitation is that anyone, you, me, the listener, anyone who is willing to care, to listen, and to serve can become one of the few. It is a choice we get to make every time we open our mouths.
So here's our challenge to you, the listener. We want you to try one thing today, just one thing, in your very next conversation, whether it's with your partner, your barista, or your boss. I want you to pause. Just take a breath and ask yourself those 3 silent questions from their perspective.
Imagine them asking you silently, do you care about me? Can you help me? Can I trust you?
and then do whatever it takes in that moment to make the answer to all three of those a clear, unambiguous yes.
Look them in the eye, ask a question. Listen, keep it simple. It really does change everything.
Go bridge that gap. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
See you next time.